name's Clinton Perkins, and today I'm going to be talking about Kahoot. It's an online student response system that makes learning fun for the students and for the instructors. It's at getkahoot.com and make learning awesome, and it is. For my most unengaged students, Kahoot will engage them because it becomes a competition and they love it. They get assigned points, they get to have fun, they get to compete. You can set it up where it's individual score or whether it's group score. And you can test almost anything because you can create the tests, or you can search from the millions of Kahoots that are already out there. So what is Kahoot? Kahoot is a student response system. The way most student response system works, just like Kahoot, is the instructor presents a concept and materials with slides asking for feedback, and the questions are typically true, false, or multiple choice. Same thing is true with Kahoot. You can create your own questions. You create your own, whether it's multiple choice, true, false. You can teach colors. You can teach any concept with Kahoot, or you can test and make it actually an assessment. With the response system, students can either use their Chromebooks, their laptops, their iPads, their cell phones. Any device that can connect to the internet can become a digital response. It's not like the old school systems where you had to have the remotes and you had the little box and the students had to click it, the clicker system. This is actually totally autonomous to that. You can actually use any kind of technology you want to connect to the Kahoot system. Now, as the students respond, what you're going to get is you're going to get a bar graph that tells you which answers were answered, which ones were correct, which ones were wrong. What that allows the instructor to do is, A, they can stop the presentation mid-quiz, and they can go over answers right there and explain why the answer was wrong, how the answer, how to actually answer the correct answer. And they can actually give out prizes. Kahoot will rank them by how quick they answer and how much they answer correctly, and it'll actually score them. So you can actually toss out little prizes to your students as you're taking the Kahoot every 4 or 5 questions, just to keep them more motivated, more engaged, and they really enjoy it. And then also, one nice thing, once they've all answered, Kahoot also lets you download the data onto your Google Drive, and then that lets you save the data. You can use it for formative assessments, summative assessments, anything that you want to do with it, and you can also keep track of student progress. If you wanted to give them the same quiz over, say, a unit, and you started out with that as a pre-quiz to test their knowledge, what they did know, and they can do a mid-quiz and then a summative end quiz with the same questions and see how far they've grown in the time of progress. So let's talk about Kahoot a little bit, what you can do with it, what you can't do with it, and some of the odds and ends. So for my Kahoot, there's several things you can do with Kahoot when you first log in. You're going to have the Kahoots that you've made. You're going to have favorite Kahoots, which will be the ones that you've used in the past. Shared Kahoots. My co-lab teacher and I, we share Kahoots with each other. So he took a duplicate from this person when we searched it out, and we added more questions to it, changed some of the questions we didn't like, changed the timing on the questions, all that different stuff you're allowed to do with Kahoot. Now, you've got several options. You can create the Kahoot. Well, these are ones all created by me. Or you can actually find Kahoots. So you click Find Kahoots if you don't have time to actually, create your own Kahoot. If you want to test kids on, say, colors. Then you search it out. You can type in just colors and all the different questions. So this one was 11 questions. If I want to see what this one has, I click on it, and it asks what's this color. And then you can actually see all the answers. then you can test your students. Green, yellow, white. It's been played by 1.3 thousand, 1,300 players, 256 times. It's favorited by 21 people, so you can tell by popularity how popular Kahoot is. So that's one option. You can just literally go in there and search from any of the millions of Kahoots that are already on Kahoot. Now for this one, I actually created this Kahoot myself, just kind of for us. And I can show you how to edit it, what it looks like when you start out. So, you can set your time limits, you set your questions, and then you can set your answers, all in the edit section. And then when you set your answers, you can also select which questions are correct and what answers are correct. So you can say if you wanted to award points, you can upload videos, you can upload images, and you can change the amount of time that each question gets to answered from anywhere from 5 seconds to 120 seconds. So just for fun, we're going to take the quiz. Now when you take the quiz, you get two different modes. You get team mode, where teams, say if you want to do it by table group, they would all use one device in the table group. So table 1 would be assigned a device. And this is really good for schools that don't have one-to-one computers or technology for students. Or you can do one-to-one devices if you have, if you're lucky enough to have a district that has multiple devices per student, then you can do the one-to-one devices. So we're going to do classic, which is one-to-one. And then I'm going to use my cell phone. And you just load right on your cell phone, Kahoot.it. You got to go to the App Store and download the app. And then it asks for a game pin. That's your game pin there. I always write the game pin on the board somewhere, because what happens is if a student gets kicked out, the game pin only pops up on the front screen. Now the student screens have the game pin on there, so if they're sitting next to somebody else that's still logged in, they can log in off of their pin, but it's a lot easier if you just write it down to begin with. So our pin is 6934723, and it's going to ask for a nickname. Now I can pick whatever I want. I always tell the students that it has to be a name that I know them by. The reason being is because I want to be able to grade it later on their responses, and I don't know who Bubba G is sometimes. So I always tell them it has to be something that's appropriate and something that they're going to be able to get credit for. So it says you're in. Up here you can see my name now, one player, and that's it. If I had more people, I'd click, I'd wait for them to all log in, and then I start. And then what it does, how many characters can you use for answers? So, it gives you 4 choices, and the students don't have that. They have to read up here. So it tells me, okay, well, I've only got 60 characters. So, the correct answer comes with the check mark. So I got it right. No other people got it wrong. Now, if I had a class of 15 or 20, and 10 of them got it wrong, I might stop there and re-explain why that was, not right. And then it assigns me points value for every single question I have. So you get 60 characters for the questions. How many characters, or for the answers, sorry. For the questions, how many characters can you use up here for your answers? Well, I know the answer. You get 95 characters. Sounds like a lot, but that is characters, that is periods, that is spaces. So that's the only drawback that I found with Kahoot. You cannot use like real long answers or real long questions. It needs to be more precise and concise. Can you add videos to Kahoot? And yes, you can add videos to Kahoot. Minimum time you can set for an answer. I know the answer to this. So, one thing that I learned with this, I was sideways, I turned vertical. When I clicked my response, it changed midstream. Now I got it wrong. See, so now you can see the answers, 5 seconds, 0 people got it right. one person clicked 20 seconds. So once again, we can go back in there and reteach missing concepts this way. What is the maximum time you can give for an answer? The maximum time is 120 seconds. So, like for two-step equations or finding percents, or I teach math, so if you have any kind of vocabulary, that you want them to use, then that's what I would do. Can you use Kahoot as a summative assessment? Yes, you can use Kahoot as a summative assessment. I use it as a summative assessment all the time. I also use it as a formative assessment. What format does Kahoot export answers to? This is the last question, question 7 of 7. So, Kahoot gives you answers in Google Sheets. It's going to ask you. Now I'm going to show you at the end here what it looks like. So now here's the answer. So if you had 3 people, it'll give you the top 5 as you're taking the quiz, but then it gives you the top 3. And so you can give out candy or, coupon bucks or whatever you want to do for your prizes. And then at the end, we can get results. So we take our results, we save them. We save them to Drive. So I can set it right to my Kahoot's result folder in my Drive. And what this is going to do is this is going to show you all your student responses. So it's going to tell you what day it was played on, so you know what your quiz was. This is going to tell you who hosted it, I hosted it, how many players you had, how many questions, the total percent of correct answers, 87%, the total incorrect answers, 14%. So, and then it also tells you, final scores, what each player got on their final score, a question summary. So if you want to go back and look over your questions and see, oh wow, okay, question 4, a lot of people didn't get what the minimum time was. So I want to go back over this and rethink what minimum time was and try to reteach this topic. So you can actually use it, like I said, as a very good formative assessment for teaching. It's a very good mid-unit quiz. One, it engages the students and they kind of want to learn the information later on, because if you tell them, look, we're going to take this quiz today, and then on Friday we're going to take the quiz again, and the top 3 scorers get a homework coupon. They're going to pay more attention because they want to, it becomes competitive. And believe me, it becomes very competitive. And then you can also see, each individual question, not just who got it wrong, but how many people got it wrong for that question. So, in conclusion, I think Kahoot is a great technology. I think that teachers should be using it all the time, not just the handful of teachers that I know that actually use it, because it really offers students an interesting way to take quizzes without the old paper and pencil, mindset. It becomes fun. They actually become engaged. It's a game. Yes, they're taking a quiz, but they're having fun doing it. And that's really the point, right? We want them to learn, but we also want it to be very fun. So this increases engagement. It lets you create the tests on anything that you want, but there are some limitations. You're limited on your question size, your answer size, and you're limited to 4 answers. So you can't really do a fill-in-the-blank response. But even with those limitations, I still think Kahoot is probably one of the best softwares that I've found for student response and student engagement and student testing. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation, and I hope that you start trying to use Kahoot. And if you get any really awesome 7th grade math Kahoots, please share them with me at Quilt78, because I'm always looking for great Kahoots to share with my kids. So thank you, and hope you guys have a great night.